Hello and a very good evening. You're watching yet another episode of Beyond the Boundary on TOI Sports. A disappointing day for India. Day 2 bundled out for 180 in the first innings. In reply to Australia's 330, we are struggling. We are in deep trouble at 128 for 5. The pair of Rishabh Pant and Nitish Kumar Reddy are out there in the middle, but the writing seems to be on the wall. Until unless someone kind of decides to bat out of their skins. We have a full panel today to discuss about the day's play and what lies tomorrow. Looks like an early finish, but let's discuss and let's call upon our all three panelists: Mr. Avijit Ghosh, Senior Editor, Times of India; Ace Reporter, Bombay, Mumbai; Gaurav Gupta; and TOI Group Sports Editor, K. Srinivas Rao. Welcome, gentlemen. Uh, a battle of two twilight periods, and it seems India lost both yesterday with the ball, today with the bat. I'll come to Srini first. Srini, it was a splendid effort with the ball, right? No matter how much we criticize our batters, but these three bowlers, Scott Boland, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, they literally gave nothing away. वो टप्पा जिसको कहते हैं कि नींद में ही सेट था, and all three of them being very different from each other, they present a very tough examination for our batters.
I think, and that initiative was lost in the first innings itself. I think, from a psychological standpoint, we lost it to Mitchell Stark in the first innings. The way we approached, the way we kind of, I think, went into. I think that spell put India into a shell.
Yeah,
And after that, what transpired today with head, remove heads 190, 140.
yeah,
There's not much difference between what India and Australia managed, 180,
yeah,
197.
yeah,
So I think that first inning spell from Mitchell Stark is what completely put us in a shell. From that, I think we haven't really managed to recover. Now, whatever is happening is
yeah,
basically only an aftermath. I was just watching this, just the last few balls. Nitish and Rishabh bat there, and they're like having fun. I mean, Nitish is clearly having fun there.
yeah.
Is it a very, very bad wicket to bat on, or have we been really pathetic out there? I think that's where much of our discussion today is going to, kind of go on about. Where I
Yeah.
think we are we are probably are victims right now of the own psychological debt that we have, like, kind of put ourselves under. I
Yeah.
I think that's something that will be discussed as we move forward.
Yeah, and I'll come to Mr. Ghosh. I was listening to yesterday's show where all of you at length, Srini was there, Mr. Ghosh was there, Nitin was there, Dwaipan, Chetan, everyone was discussing at length about the technical flaws in a Gill, in a Jaiswal. But sir, all said and done, I think this was quality exhibition of fast bowling. If we just ignore the economy rate, I think it doesn't matter because they have those crucial additions to the wickets column. They came with a plan. They stuck to the plan. Stark and the banana swingers. Scott Boland relentless with that channel outside off, and Pat Cummins doing his magic with the wobbly seam. And it was just too hot to handle for the visitors.
Look, there's no denying that they have been on the ball, on the money, as they call it. You
Yeah,
know, they bowled very few loose deliveries.
yeah,
But does that mean that we will get out for 180 in the first innings and we'll be in the position that we are right now? In 24 hours, we have scored 128 for 5. I think
yeah,
we in the second innings we went with the plan that let us be natural, let us play shots. But the fact is that if you take our two Adelaide tests, the one which we
yeah,
lost in 2020 and this one, so far only two Indian batters have played more than 100 deliveries. In this test, not a single batsman has lasted 70 balls.
yeah,
See, that essentially means that your defense has been severely tested. No,
yeah,
the ball is moving. There is obviously quality thing on offer, but how do you counter it? See,
yeah,
three Australian batsmen have played more than 100 deliveries in this test. We see,
correct.
obviously, Travis had played very special innings, but Labushan, who was as struggling as much as Rohit and Kohli, he gritted out and he played more than 100 deliveries. Even Nathan McSweeney, who had absolutely no answer in the
Yeah,
in the first test, he played more than 100 deliveries. So the point is that we have showed a lack of application.
yeah,
We
yeah,
basically think that we will be playing in the T20 style or at the best ODI style. We are not trusting our defense,
yeah,
and the people who are trusting our defense don't have at the moment a good enough defense to
Yeah.
to be able to manage what Australia is offering right now.
Yeah, yeah. I think Gigi, even before the series got underway, we knew कि पर्थ और एडिलेड के अंदर जो आपको challenges face होने वाले हैं, they're going to be completely different. You know, the mean strip and fiery strip of Perth, and then the different challenges of pink ball, which gives you very little reaction time. Clearly, हमारे batters were founding on that front, were found wanting on that front. That reaction time, no matter how much they tried to be tighter with their defense, like Rohit did try, but was undone by a brilliant delivery from Pat Cummins. Then same शुभमन गिल को जो स्टार्क का बॉल पड़ा, these are stuff dreams are made of यार. मतलब हाथ से ही लग रहा था कि वो बॉल कुछ अलग करतब करने वाली है, and it happened. But still, it can't come as a defense for what the batters have been doing throughout the tour. And कल के शो में मैंने सुना कि वो सेकंड इनिंग्स 100 और सेकंड इनिंग्स आउटिंग्स को थोड़ा बाजू हटाओ. That game was set up by Jasprit Bumrah's spell on that first day. So your thoughts on how the batting has been in the two innings, and this is heading towards an early finish and doesn't augur well for the team, you know, going into the Brisbane Test at 1-all.
आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग विद द पिंक बॉल, पहली बात तो ये पिंक बॉल का मुझे समझ नहीं आता, बिकॉज ये अगेन 2 दिन में ऐसा लगा आज तो कि मैच खत्म हो जाएगा, फिर किसी तरह ये घसीट के तीसरे दिन लेके जा रही है इंडिया. ठीक है. एंड आई थिंक सीरियस क्वेश्चन नाउ नीड टू बी आस्क्ड अबाउट द पिंक बॉल, जो कल आई थिंक बात कर रहे थे कमेंट्री में, मुरली विजय ने बोला ये बॉल नहीं ठीक से दिखती है, यू नो, एंड कमेंट्री में, एंड देन मार्क निकोलस सेड इफ दैट इज एन इशू मुरली, देन इट्स अ सीरियस इशू एंड वी नीड टू टेक इट टू द अथॉरिटीज. तो मुझे लगता है एक सेपरेट डिबेट है वो अपने आप में, बट आई थिंक पिंक बॉल हैज सीरियस इश्यूज विद यू नो दैट द बैट्समैन हैव विद इट, एंड द अथॉरिटीज नीड टू थिंक हार्ड वेदर दे वांट टू कंटिन्यू विद इट और नॉट. वो तो चलो रही पहली बात. सेकंडली, आई थिंक यशस्वी जायसवाल को किसी को बता के बोलना चाहिए, बेटा मिचेल स्टार्क जैसे बॉलर को आप ये नहीं बोलते कि भैया बॉल बहुत धीरे आ रहा है, क्योंकि फिर वो सोच के आता है अच्छा बेटा जरा बताता हूं मैं. आपने यार सोए हुए शेर को जगा दिया, आपने जो है ना वुंडेड लायन को पूरा वो कर दिया एकदम से. ठीक है. और वो उसने पूरी फर्स्ट इनिंग में आके और आपको चीर फाड़ के खा गया. ठीक है. सेकंड इनिंग में अभी एक लिया है, मुझे लगता है वो जैसे जैसे और रिदम में आएंगे और विकेट लेते जाएंगे. ठीक है. तो ये जो इस तरह के स्टेटमेंट्स है ना, ये मुझे थोड़ा जहीर खान का याद आ गया, जो उन्होंने, अगर आपका 2003 वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल में उन्होंने एडम गिलक्रिस्ट को थोड़ा सा कुछ सुनाने की कोशिश करी थी, और उसके बाद जो ऑसीज उनके पीछे पड़े और बाकी भारतीय बॉलर्स के, वो रिकी पॉन्टिंग एंड आई थिंक आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम ऑफ द थर्ड बैटर, एंड दे मेड सम 350 समथिंग. So the Aussies, I think you when you are quiet and you play at your best, that is थोड़ा सा ज्यादा हो गया था. तो we became a bit overconfident. Starting with this test match, I thought in terms of combo, मुझे समझ नहीं आया वॉशिंगटन सुंदर को क्यों ड्रॉप किया गया, रविचंद्रन अश्विन क्यों टीम में आए, मुझे वो लॉजिक बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आया. ठीक है. हर्षित राणा has again proved to be a very expensive guy to back. In the first test, he was awesome, he was brilliant, but clearly there will be serious questions asked to the coach कि बॉस जब आकाशदीप इतना अच्छा डाल रहे थे इंडिया में, और शायद पिंक बॉल से बहुत अच्छे साबित होते प्रोस्पेक्ट, तो आपने उनको क्यों नहीं खिलाया, बिकॉज जसप्रीत बुमराह was clearly lacking support. I mean, Siraj Goldwell, I know occasionally picked up 4 wickets, but वो जो थर्ड फास्ट बॉलर का रोल था, वहां पर हर्षित राणा बहुत बुरी तरह फेल हो गए. कमिंग टू आवर बैटिंग, आई थिंक डेफिनेटली क्वेश्चंस, मतलब सबसे बड़े क्वेश्चन तो यार रोहित शर्मा और जो आपके सबसे सीनियर लड़के हैं उन्हीं को बोलेंगे. आप आपके कप्तान आए टीम में वापस विद लिटिल प्रैक्टिस, ऑब्वियसली द वे इन द फर्स्ट इनिंग उनके पैर चल नहीं रहे थे, बॉल अंदर घुस गए, एलबीडब्ल्यू हो गए. ठीक है. सेकंड इनिंग में बोल्ड नेक एंड क्रॉप पैट कमिंस, तो ऑलरेडी ऑफ फॉर्म है. तो आई थिंक वहां पर चीफ सेलेक्टर अजीत अगरकर है, और मैं तो भाई ये शुरू से मेंटेन कर रहा हूँ फ्रॉम द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द स्टोर दैट सीरियस क्वेश्चंस नीड टू बी आस्क्ड ऑफ दीस सीनियर प्लेयर्स, दैट बॉस हाउ लॉन्ग एंड फ्रॉम वेयर इज योर करियर हेडिंग टू. इवन विराट कोहली अगेन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे बोथ इनिंग्स ही played.
Yeah, we'll come to that. I think we'll sound like a broken record because we keep discussing their future every day, और हम हर रोज ये बात करते हैं, because every innings is just adding to the sample size to our conversations कि यार struggle कर रहे हैं. I think that's out there in the open. Yes, they are struggling, and yes, very little should be read into that Virat Kohli 100 in the second innings. Serious questions need to be asked. And I will come to you. Starting from the New Zealand series now, we have been often talking about the kind of combinations you are playing, with the pitches you are playing on. Again, this test, a lot of chatter was there. Harshit Rana, yes, he looked impressive. Now I'll touch that Harshit Rana decision. He looked very impressive in that Perth test. But pink ball, with not much experience behind his side, did you take too big a risk of playing him with the pink ball as your third seamer? I'll categorically ask you for the third seamer bit, because your third seamer is your first change bowler, so he becomes a very vital cog in the setup.
No, I think, see, we will tend to read a little too much into it now, because things have not worked the way we wanted. The debate we discussed it, Akashdeep or Harshit kind of coming into this test match, and we were very clear about it, and I continue to stand by it. See, how much of ping ball cricket have these boys played at any level? Forget test cricket, even domestic cricket. How much, the only cricket that these guys are known to play under lights is IPL. Okay, other than that,
Yeah.
they have not really, kind of understood things from that perspective. And now
Yeah.
you're going to against a team in their backyard where it's an annual feature for them. They understand those conditions better. We know what kind of record Mitchell Stark has under lights in Australia in ping ball tests. All of that
Yeah.
put together, what are we discussing? Would Akashdeep have shown some a little more maturity to kind of land the ball at specific at better lengths? I think it was a game of length, not the line. Forget everything. It was about
Yeah.
kind of how you were pitching that delivery, and I thought that's where Harshit could have probably made a little bit more difference. I really don't know. I mean, the guy suddenly, it's not like he's dropped pace. Suddenly, it's not like he's lost his line. He's been in form. He's shown the
Yeah.
right instinct. Everything. It was just about those initial lacking that you see, and Jasprit Bumrah coming good, around which everything else had begun to revolve. So both those things did not fall in place for
Yeah.
us, right? And then little things around it. Both Jasprit Bumrah's form vis-a-vis what we saw in Perth, clearly now what
Yeah.
I'm watching out of Jasprit on television beginning to worry me, because this is still a very long series. This is still a
Yeah.
three test matches after this to come, and the guy, am I seeing signs of fatigue already? And mind you, doesn't matter whether you play Harshit or you play Akash, if we don't have a 100% fit Jasprit Bumrah, it is going to
Yeah.
have a telling effect on the rest of the attack. And I think
Yeah.
I wasn't. How long was Bumrah out of the field today? For quite almost an
Not
hour,
long, but
hour and a half out of the
yeah.
field,
But he
right?
came back and bowled after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came back. He came back,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that and then I mean, Rohit copying up that criticism that whether he was like he did he bowl Bumrah enough? Who knows what is going on between the bowler and the captain? What exactly
Yeah.
is the bowler conveying to the captain? We are not privy to that conversation. We have to wait for a press conference to try and understand what transpired out there.
Yeah.
Maybe Bumrah could have bowled to gone and told Rohit that listen, I want to go a little slow. It's not very fair to blame Rohit. Suddenly people are coming up with all these viewpoints, or the captaincy was passive. It was kind of, I don't know what are the cards that he could have played at that point in time. And I think Travis
Yeah.
had played Bumrah and R Ashwin really well. So
Yeah.
I really won't put any blame on these bowlers, because Bumrah, obviously the workload is way too much on him, and Harshit,
Yeah.
obviously just his second test. I really won't kind of put a little any more pressure on than he already has on his head.
Yeah.
So,
Avijit sir, we were discussing before the show got underway, and we categorically spoke about Harshit Rana, whether we needed an experienced bowler there as your first change seamer. And you did share what about your thoughts about a certain Mukesh Kumar. Also, you were discussing then Akashdeep. So, how do you look at this whole combination? Because we know Jasprit Bumrah is going to be overworked. He's going to be overburdened with the spells. So, is it important to have that experienced support cast around him?
See, my view is a little different from Shini's. Uh, what I felt was that India was today in the game for the first 45 minutes. When Bumrah was bowling reasonably well, we had got the wicket of McSweeney and later Smith, and we did not allow to Australia to get away. You see, the problem starts after that, and
Yeah.
Harshit actually played a very big role in that. You see, his and all overs that he bowled, what we needed either a breakthrough or some kind of a control. On an
Yeah.
average, today he bowled every over that he bowled two loose deliveries, which were boundary balls. He his line was a huge problem today. He constantly fed Travis Head on the legs. And
Yeah.
I really don't know why Bumrah bowled 4 overs today in the first session.
Yeah.
But Ashwin, was brought in to bowl only at the 48th over. From 1 to 48, Ashwin has bowled his second over in the 48th over, because yesterday he had bowled 1 over. So
Yeah.
the only bowler today who showed some degree of control despite the situation not being conducive to him was actually Ashwin, and he got Mitchell Marsh with a delivery, with a bowler. It was a bowler's wicket. So I would say today I will give A minus to Bumrah. I will give A minus for effort to Ashwin. Uh,
Yeah.
B plus to Siraj again, but he
Yeah.
came well. He bowled in the well in the last spell, but he was not so good in the earlier spells. And
Yeah.
Harshit Rana was playing either B minus or C, whatever. And
Yeah.
when you have three bowlers, and somebody is coming very aggressively at you, we let the match. We played into Travis Head's hand. Travis
Yeah.
Head did not have to play spectacular. Take risks like later Rishabh was taking in the end to score
Yeah.
his boundaries. He
Yeah.
was just playing effortless shots because he showed intent, but
And
the
he was
balls were
fed. He was
just
fed deliveries. Yeah,
yeah,
he was fed those
yeah, yeah.
deliveries.
He was being fed delivery. So I just feel that uh, we got a little carried away by the quality of that particular delivery which Harshit had bowled in the first test to Travis Head. That was a dream delivery he bowled, and we got carried away by that. Rest of his spell, even in the first innings, if you see second innings, he got only the tail enders. So
Yeah.
he was all right, but he was not exceptional in the first test. And I think once you play him, but his performance in the first test deserved a run in the second. But now I feel that that he has been caught out, and I really don't know how. I don't think he will get much of a bowl in the second innings, because I
Yeah.
don't even know whether we will cross. Whether we'll lose by any innings or not. But so the third test, I see that this Indian, the team, I don't see them sticking with him. And let us not forget one thing, that we had invested in guys like for about last 1.5 years. Once he
Yeah.
matures, you put him in India A, where he bowls well, but he's not considered. Then even Prasidh Krishna in the second test, India A versus Australia A, he was absolutely brilliant. That was
Yeah.
the best I have seen him bowl ever. And but now he's not being considered. You take,
Yeah.
it is just a punter's call that Gambhir takes on Harshit. You know
Yeah.
that he's a Lamberes ka ghoda, and he will. And to be fair, he has not done wrong. But whether he was the kind of a guy whom you groom, whom you blood in a marquee series, that's the question.
Yeah. Now, Gigi, I'll come to you on this now. Now, हम बहुत बात कर रहे हैं हर्षित का, वॉशिंगटन का, playing the right seamers, playing the right mix. You think a tough line of questioning will be put in place now, because two series back to back we are strategically blundering, and those series back to back के अंदर strategic blunders हुए, whether it's the nature of pitches and now this combination not playing the right seamer for the right track. Do you think it will be something which will be brought up for discussions, because we are set to lose this test? Only a miracle can save us. Miracle हुआ भी तो Australia still have the cards up their sleeve to keep India quiet and probably wrap it off in the first session, or if not the first session, then early second session.
सी इट्स एन एजिंग टीम, सो पहले सवाल तो मुझे लगता है थोड़े सीनियर्स से होने चाहिए जो परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, स्पेशली इन बैटिंग, रोहित एंड विराट, टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक. हाँ, नंबर टू, ऑब्वियसली द टीम कॉम्बो, द कोच इज आंसरेबल फॉर अ फ्यू थिंग्स. आई मीन हियर देयर वाज एब्सोल्युटली, मुझे समझ नहीं आया वाशिंगटन सुंदर, जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि क्यों ड्रॉप हो गया. ही डिड एवरीथिंग राइट. आई मीन द लिटिल थिंग्स दैट ही वाज आस्क्ड टू डू, looked reasonably good in the middle in the first innings, I thought. And he's a very decent batsman. And then suddenly आप अश्विन को एकदम से मतलब लेकर आ रहे हो, या तो अगर आपको बैटिंग स्ट्रॉन्ग करनी तो जडेजा को लेकर आओ. अश्विन तो आई मीन, and what message are you giving to Washington that you are in, you are out again, you're not. It's जब ये रेस हुआ था बहुत साल पहले between Harbhajan and Ashwin, when Ashwin was played, it's not like Harbhajan was brought back at the expense of Ashwin. And then Ashwin was given a long run. And before that, when it was between Kumble and Harbhajan, I can understand it was 50-50 because both were almost there in this thing. But तब भी mostly
Yeah.
Harbhajan को prefer किया जाता था outside India. So at some level, I think we need to move on here to go back to the tried and tested players. I mean, I know Ashwin
Yeah.
has bowled very well in Australia and all that, and maybe the उम्मीद was that pink ball से वो कुछ wicket ले लेंगे, drift मिलेगा उनको ये वो. But I thought you need to sort of keep playing Washi also to increase his confidence, outside
Yeah.
India. So that was an issue with me. Definitely Harshit Rana, तो मुझे लग ही रहा, जो जैसा कि अभिजीत सर ने कहा कि आप इतने घोड़ों को टपा के और फिर एकदम से आप उसको मतलब आगे लेकर आ रहे हैं हर्षित को. क्वेश्चंस विल बी आस्क्ड, कि because he's a KKR and Delhi boy at the end of the day, he's skilled, he's quite good. But then there are others who have also been there and been sort of running that same race and doing well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your मुकेश कुमार, प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा, आई थिंक मुझे उन पे उतना भरोसा नहीं है फ्रैंकली, वो इंजरी प्रोन है बहुत ज्यादा। तो मुझे ये भी डर लगता है कि उनको टेस्ट मैच खिला दिया तो कल को ऐसा ना हो कि इंजर्ड हो जाए फर्स्ट इनिंग में। हर्षित थोड़ा सा मुझे लगता है कि इज अ बिट ऑफ अ स्टर्डी गाय and he lost the test match and he actually bowled. I disagree with sir there. He, apart from that ball also he bowled well in the second innings. वो जो उन्होंने short balls डाली हेजलवुड को और स्टार्क को, वो सब चाहिए होता है थोड़ा सा ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, that intimidation with the ball. So like that. Also, Nitish Kumar Reddy, see, he's again in batting, he's proved himself. But what about bowling? He's replacing Shardul Thakur. Okay, but if he's only bowling 6-7 overs, 5 overs on a seaming track or with a pink ball, then are you looking at somebody who's just maybe one third a bowler like that? तो वो थोड़ा सा वो सब सवाल है जो कि आई थिंक डेफिनेटली आंसर करने चाहिए एंड मे बी आई डोंट नो आगे जाके इफ दे कैन मेक अ प्लेस फॉर सरफराज खान इन द मिडिल ऑर्डर, गिव हिम one more chance at the end of the day. So those things they will have to wonder about. I mean, definitely some kind of, and as Shini said, the biggest issue is obviously Jasprit ka this thing. I don't think honestly Jasprit Bumrah is playing the next test match. मुझे लगता है वो रेस्ट करेंगे। ये 5 टेस्ट सीरीज वैसे वो 5 टेस्ट मैच नहीं खेलने वाले थे, मैं लास्ट शो में भी बोल रहा था, मुझे लगता है नेक्स्ट वो मिस करेंगे एंड ही इज गोइंग टू रेस्ट एंड कम बैक afresh for the next last two games.
That's a big prediction, Gigi. Now I'll come to Srini. Srini, Travis Head, 2 finals. We've already spoken about him, but again, big 100. We just can't stop this guy. We just don't seem to have a plan for him. And today you're saying that, a lot of criticism on Rohit, but he should be rightly criticized, right? You can't be very reactive when it comes to someone like a Travis Head. You need to come with a bloody plan for a player who has been troubling you across formats now. There was no planning whatsoever. You allowed him to just take the game away from you. 17 fours, 4 sixes, a strike rate of 100 against the pink ball. I think they were caught snoozing there. Rohit was caught snoozing.
Divided into two halves. There is no plan against Travis Head is part of the question. Do you have resources to kind of create a plan against Travis Head? I mean, that's the second half of the question, right? Because the whole planning that you do or whatever you are doing revolves around the whole idea of Jasprit Bumrah coming good, right? And that's where your basic certain points did not fall into place. Certain factors did not fall into place. I think from that aspect, India clearly did not have the resources to go after Travis. This guy has been after us. Okay. Yes, India hasn't planned, but I don't know. That's why I'm saying, look at the way he battled. It's very clear with these Australians, even when Labuschagne was batting. Okay. For the amount of patience that he showed, it was very clear that these Aussies had decided you need to tackle Bumrah. This guy was sitting in their heads. He's been sitting in their heads ever since that day one in Perth. They know that if they have to survive against this Indian team, they have to first survive against Jasprit Bumrah. That is exactly what they did. Vijay sir was saying that, today morning, Bumrah got a lovely spell. That's fine. I mean, he's still Bumrah. Nothing taken away from him. But the fact is that the Aussies tackled way better and were way better planned in understanding. Your question about Travis Head and why didn't we plan it better? The exact opposite is how the Aussies fared against Bumrah. Because that is where the whole psychological edge India had got, right? And they fared better. We actually did not have the resources to go after Head. What was our plan B in case Bumrah did not work? I don't think we had a plan B. And going by the way Trade has played R. Ashwin throughout now, I mean, he toyed with him. Yeah? He literally toyed with him. There was, so there is no, I really thought that at one point, ball with off spinners, it's a classic case. A batter like that comes and whacks you, over mid-on like that, sits down and starts playing you. It's just very easy for you to just forget your line and length for the rest of the test match. Which I was fearing would happen with Ashwin when I was watching that battle between him and Travis Head. And well, I really can't say anything. For me, the whole idea is that they did not have any resources to go after. Look at what the Aussies were coming at you with. A Cummins, a Hazelwood goes out, a Boland comes in. And at the end of the day, does the most amount of damage to you where it is needed, right? Where is our plan B? Who have we gone back to? That is the whole question. And I think we were completely missing out from that aspect.
No, Srini, I'll quickly interject on the planning bit. I'll I'll move to Avijit sir because he mentioned a beautiful stat which he had come up with. For the first 125 deliveries, Avijit sir told me with Travis had faced, only 4 were bouncers. And Travis has that visible weakness early on in his innings. Avijit sir, I'll bring you into that conversation now. You were mentioning about that short ball ploy, which could have been deployed much earlier than they did, because once Head got his eye in, when Harshit Rana did try to bounce him out, it was all too easy for him to just dispatch it left, right, and center.
You see, both Gavaskar and Langer were also talking about it. I mean, they were saying that it is well known that, Head doesn't relish bouncers early in the innings, and nobody bounced him. And later, that at a much later stage, the data came that there were only 4 bouncers that he had faced out of 126 balls. The point is that with Travis Head is that, number one, he has got a psychological hold over the Indian bowlers. That 163 of 174 balls. He won he won Australia 2 finals, the ODI final as well as the Test finals. But let us not forget one thing. Ashwin, he hit Ashwin for 2 sixes, but the third sixes he gave a catch actually. And it was our mistake, that we had put Siraj there. If it was part of a plan, then you put one of your best fielders there. There should have been one of the better fielders, and we have got very, very good fielders, in the outfield. That is what I was talking about planning. It was pretty evident that at a certain point of time that he's going for his shots, but it was also a high risk ploy, But so it is not that Travis had got entirely the better of it. Ashwin could have won the argument at 78. We could have stopped Travis Head at 78, but the catch was dropped. But having said that, people like Travis Head and to some extent even Rishabh Pant and all, they are redefining Test batsmanship in their own way. I mean, just like Sehwag did it in his time, hand-eye coordination and hitting triple hundreds. Nobody had thought that somebody, whose foot movement is, footwork is not the way it should have been, but he was hitting triple hundreds. But it just reminds me of, the Chinese statesman, Deng Xiaoping's, phrase. He had once said that it doesn't matter if a cat is black or white as long as it catches mice. So he was talking about, that it doesn't matter, whether that market economy or distribution resources. It doesn't have anything to do with political institutions. Socialism can have market and capitalism can have planning. That's what he was trying to say. So the point is that it doesn't matter how you score runs as long as you find a way to do it. It's a personal way. And Travis Head has, despite his limitations, has found a way to score consistently against any form of attack on any kind of pitch. So he's in that sense a special bowler. But they also said, bowl him over the shoulders, make him drive. Don't let him don't let him stay in his comfort zone. We allowed him to play this test in his comfort zone.
Yeah. No, Gigi, I'll come to you now. बहुत नेगेटिव की बातें कर ली, बट जितना भी सैंपल साइज बैटर्स का दिखा है, जितना भी हमने शुभमन गिल को देखा, यशस्वी को देखा, नीतीश रेड्डी को देखा, are there any positives to drive home to, as far as batting is concerned? I think Shubman looked very crisp in both the innings. Second innings, I think he was undone by probably the ball of the series so far from Mitchell Starc. I think that Harshit Rana delivery to Head and this Mitchell Starc delivery to Shubman Gill, it is going to dominate your highlights and promo packages for the rest of the Australian summer for sure. That delivery was right out of like stuff the dreams are made of, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And मैं बोल रहा हूँ बात जब भी मिचेल स्टार्क विकेट ले रहा है तो मुझे यशस्वी जायसवाल पे गुस्सा आ रहा है कि भाई उसको क्यों जगाया तुमने सोते हुए शेर को क्योंकि उन्होंने मतलब ये थोड़ा ह्यूमिलिटी होना चाहिए भाई, वो मिचेल स्टार्क है, ठीक है। और जायसवाल क्योंकि मतलब मैं उस लड़के को कितने टाइम से देख रहा हूँ तो मुझे गुस्सा आता है देख के कि यार 100 मार के तुम इतने एरोगेंट क्यों हो जाते हो, दैट यू आर टॉन्टिंग नेथन लायन आल्सो कि अरे आप बुड्ढे हो गए अभी। ही टुक इट वेल, बट थोड़ा सा ह्यूमिलिटी आई थिंक विल इज द ऑर्डर ऑफ द डे। Having said that, obviously, Shubman Gill was brilliant, I thought, in both the innings. But again, I mean, maybe coming off the injury, so he could not convert. but yeah, some of the driving that was there, especially in the first innings, was really crisp. I think पहले ओवर में आते उन्होंने स्टार्क को 2 चौके लगाए थे. Driving the ball
Yeah.
beautifully and typical. He obviously looks very good when he drives the ball, but and the big positive down the order is obviously Nitish Reddy, the way he was batting, and especially जो घूम के उन्होंने 6 मारा. I mean, Mark Nicholas also likes it, unbelievable. I don't have words to describe this guy. His team is in a crisis and ये उल्टा घूम के छक्का मार रहा है बंदा. So the guy is unbelievably unpredictable, and which is good for us. There's a bit of Hardik Pandya, Kapil Dev, that adventurous streak is there in him. That bold stroke play is there in him, which augurs well for us. So वो चीज है, and he was also under pressure. I mean, at the end of the day, he has been preferred over somebody seasoned as Shardul Thakur. तो उन्होंने अपनी पोजीशन को काफी जस्टिफाई किया है अपनी उसको सिलेक्शन को. सो दोज आर पॉजिटिव्स, डेफिनेटली पॉजिटिव्स हैं, बट और ऑब्वियसली बुमराह बहुत बड़े पॉजिटिव हैं, बट मुझे डर है कि वही सबसे बड़े नेगेटिव ना बन जाए. मतलब शीनी सेट वो जो लेटे हुए थे और फिजियो उनकी कमर पे, मतलब आई थिंक होल इंडिया वुड हैव बीन वेटिंग विद बेटेड ब्रेथ की बॉस सब नॉर्मल रहे going forward, because he's really so critical to our plans. But yeah, I mean there's positives in the batting, but I think thoda sa we need to, and obviously Yashasvi, I think he'll bounce back. I still believe he'll bounce back. मेरे को राहुल का भी डर है, क्योंकि केएल राहुल भी वही होता है, कई बार ये होता है उनके साथ में, एक सीरीज में बढ़िया नॉक खेलते हैं, उसके बाद बाकी पूरी सीरीज उनका फिर ऐसे ही चलता है. I want this series to be the sort of series where he transforms his career completely. लेकिन होपफुली वो हो जाएगा, क्योंकि 50 टेस्ट बाद देखिए, मैं कल भी ऑफिस में किसी को कहता 30 की एवरेज है बंद भाई की 50-52 टेस्ट मैच के बाद में.
आज केएल जैसे आउट हुआ तो एक ट्वीट पढ़ा मैंने, फॉर्म इज परमानेंट, क्लास इज टेम्पररी, #KL Rahul. We tend to get थोड़ा ओवर क्रिटिकल, बट श्रीनी, बैटिंग का जो मेथड और अप्रोच आपको लग रहा है, देयर इज अ सेंस ऑफ ब्रावाडो, द वे गिल इज बैटिंग, द वे Yashasvi is batting, approaching Nitish Kumar Reddy, Rishabh Pant, he knows to only play in one manner. But do you think there has to be that stomach to fight it out there? अभी मैं बार-बार हम repeat करते रहेंगे पुजारा का नाम.
I was listening. Gigi Gaurav is talking about Yashasvi giving back to Mitchell Stark. Kind of थोड़ा तो humility रखो. But the flip side, Gaurav, is that हमको नहीं पता यार वो Mitchell Stark वहाँ उनको क्या बोल के रखा हो, क्योंकि young minds यार, and the Aussies are no less ना.
He was needling Harshit Rana ना, कि बहुत स्लो आ रहा है बॉल.
मेरे को एक आप सबसे पूछना है, वो डीएसपी साहब क्या कर रहे थे फुल टॉस पे आउट करने के बाद? 140 मार के गया था ट्रेविस हेड. वो डीएसपी साहब का सेंड ऑफ कहां से आया था?
डीएसपी साहब का अलग ही लेवल है. उनको लाबुशेन को देख के बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है उनको आजकल.
इतना मार खाया उसने. And what was he doing yesterday? Marnus Labuschagne pulled out because there was that beer snake glass tower moving right behind his head, yaar.
A former India cricketer told me recently that DSP साहब ना एक दिन किसी का खून गड़ा लेंगे ग्राउंड पे, जितने गुस्से में भरे रहते हैं. मतलब मजाक में ही बोल रहे थे यार, ये कुछ कर देगा बदला. जान निकाल के DSP साहब बोलेंगे बॉस एनकाउंटर हो गया तेरा.
Yeah, the last leg of the show now. Let's briefly touch on the
batting. I was saying that eventually we are 29 runs behind, right?
Yeah.
That is a little more. That is 5 runs more than what we lost our 3 best batsmen, the so-called 3 senior most batsmen in the lineup. 5 runs less than that we lost them. We lost them for 24 runs, right? Virat, Rohit, and agar ek haat tikke rehte yaar, kind of, you should have shown some more resilience there. Stood over, like, that same score, 29 shot, maybe 30 shot, maybe 40 shot. You start another day, you were still in the game. 2 wickets less. 2 wickets still in the bag, you were still very much in the game. At least, kind of somewhere, as a matter of discussion as of today. If you're 5 down, Rishabh and obviously Reddy are the last 2 well-known batting players. I mean, like, uske baad mein tumhare paas kuch bacha nahi hai. That is where in your head you are looking at this match already gone away, right? So I think the match has been lost purely here in the mind here. I think after that, as I started, from day one, where how you kind of got in the way of Mitchell Stark and that spell that he bowled, he just gotten into your head, and India is now a team that really can't get rid themselves of that pressure, and everything else that more or less that we knew can be potential problems, like Bumrah taking most of the pressure, Rana probably not being used to the conditions in a day and night test match. All of that is just adding. I have said this again and again. you cannot expect miracles all the time from a bowling attack. You cannot expect.
Yeah.
I understand that there is great amount of understanding that 20 wickets require and the bowlers have to come good, etc., etc. But I've said this, that batters cannot continuously not afford to put runs on board and then expect miracles. And our batting has not come good. We won the Perth
Absolutely.
Test because in the second innings our batting came good. We have lost the
Yeah.
initiative here because our batting did not come good, and there is
Yeah.
no rocket science who that blame should go to. I'm really
Yeah.
kind of, it goes to, as start of this conversation, we talked about the two senior most batsmen in the squad. Forget
Yeah.
where their careers are going, what is happening, and what is the big picture. How long will they survive? Let us stick to today. They did not come good, and if this test match is gone, which it is, looks like, that
Yeah.
onus has to rest on Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's head. Let's
Yeah.
not pass the blame here कि हर्षित राणा वो दूसरा टेस्ट खेल रहा है अपना. विराट
Yeah.
कोहली साहब बहुत टाइम से वो 100 मारे हैं, 100 के भरोसे वो he kind of oh, King scored 100. I mean today weird. I mean whose dismissal was it? I forget. He's looking back at the camera and David Warner said, who was he looking at? He was looking at Travis Head and asking him to keep
No,
quiet.
I think
Manas
it was a
Labuschagne की
Labuschagne.
wicket के बाद.
Labuschagne.
Labuschagne
Manas,
के wicket.
yeah, I mean, weird, man. You're doing everything except of what is required of you.
Yeah.
And honestly, I won't blame Rohit, the captain, so much, but I'll blame Rohit, the batters, a lot.
Yeah.
And these
And
guys, it's high time they understand that they've been serious underperformers
yeah.
on on tours like these, serious underperformers. So
No, I
what
think
else to say? That's where we have
yeah.
struggled. Sorry.
Yeah, I think fair point, Srini. After that Perth perfection, Australia did show that stomach to fight with the bat, and their template was very much clear. McSweeney and Manas Labuschagne, top order is playing 200 odd balls. That's what set up your Perth innings, right? Jaiswal and KL
Exactly.
Rahul. That's what you
हमको
need to
बुमराह
do.
को खेलना है, हमको अश्विन को टैकल करना है, हमको वहां खड़े रहना है, हमको वहां
Yeah,
खड़े रहना है, which is what KL Rahul and Jaiswal did in the second innings, which is what KL Rahul did brilliantly in the second innings. He
yeah,
said, मेरे को यहाँ पे खड़े रहना है, come what way, I will not budge from here. That is exactly what allowed us to pocket that test match, and that
yeah,
is exactly why we have lost the initiative today.
yeah.
So, I mean, we talk about answerability. Now is the time. So, I don't know. I'm not going to blame a Yashasvi. I'm not going to blame a Nitish Rana. I'm not going to blame those guys. The onus
Yeah.
lies on Virat and Rohit. Period.
Yeah. No, last comment from you guys on this series is beautifully set up now, right? First test, India were, as Gigi said, riding that
Is
air
it,
of confidence. Yeah, Srini.
is it true that Shami is joining? Ravi said something on air or what? Shastri? I
No,
did.
no,
I
no.
didn't
It's
listen.
not
No,
true
no,
yet.
he's not. No,
Nothing
he's
has
not.
been
He's
confirmed
not.
yet. Nothing. Ravi
No,
said
Twitter
that.
where it's
He said that it's you get him to Brisbane so that he's ready for Melbourne and Sydney. But Shami hasn't received any clearances yet, and
no,
no one in the management is aware when he's going to join. That is the
okay.
Yeah.
latest.
There's been no discussions around him. That's
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah, so the series is beautifully set up now. Vijit sir, first test we won. We were riding that confidence wave. Now we face that reality check with the pink ball. 1-1. The Australians, as Gigi said, have been woken up. The giant Mitchell Stark has woken up. Everything seems good for them. Now it is beautifully set up. Possibly a 1-1 before we head to Brisbane, Gabba, then Melbourne, Sydney, where you would expect India to do well with the conditions, which could be in their favor. But now the series is well set up, and truly the BGT is alive and kicking in all its sense now.
True. हमारा सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये हो गया ना कि Shrini and both Gaurav have said this, that see, a team is in trouble when you cannot drop certain players who are not performing.
Yeah.
It is very difficult for you to perform, to drop Rohit and to drop Virat. Virat ने पिछले मैच में सेंचुरी कर दिया. हाँ, we know that century came on a much more placid conditions rather than this kind of a situation. But we can see that uncertainty outside the off stump and weakness, it has not been rectified, and he's just a shadow of what he was. See, there have been examples in the past where a captain has dropped himself, because he was been out of form. in 1974, when Lilly and Thompson were basically, demolishing Mike Dennis's team, in Australia. In the fourth test, Mike Dennis, he dropped himself, and he said, "I'm not in form and I'm unable to tackle these guys. I will not be playing." And then, very interestingly, he comes back in the sixth test and he scores a big century, 188, and England wins that test, although Thompson didn't play that test. So it's a difficult call, but it can be, I mean, we can see, today when Rohit was batting, there are some people in the office were saying, ayaram gayaram, that kind of a thing. It's a very sad thing, but such a great captain and a good player, but
it's become a walking wicket now.
So that's the sad thing. So how does thing improve? If you see how the test that we have performed well, I told this last time also. The test that we won against England, the key performance was Yashasvi. His batting and the bowling of it was spinners there. It was Bumrah in the Perth test. He has been because he has played big innings. That has changed. That has been decisive. You see, Pant also has been in form, but Pant has not played any decisive innings. He was in form in all the test matches against New Zealand, but he was playing these 50s, 60s, that kind of innings. Even now, like he's batting, he's far more comfortable than most other batsmen. But he's batting with the attitude that as Bob Dylan once said, that when you got nothing to lose. He has that attitude. He's playing with that kind of attitude. Nitish is also playing with that kind of attitude. See, the truth is that none of our batsmen have played 70 plus deliveries. We have not shown the stomach for the fight. We have not shown the attitude, and those who are trying are not succeeding at that. So I hope the pitch is better, and our batsmen put up a better performance, because if we put up a score, then probably our bowlers will get that much of space to perform. But a lot of it would depend on Jaiswal and probably Gill.
No, sir is hoping against hope that the batting would come good. But Gigi, your last comment before we wrap today's show and move to tomorrow, because कल लग रहा है early show हो जाएगा जिस हिसाब से batting चल रही है. But the series is alive and kicking, right? पहले लग रहा था Perth match के बाद there were discussions कि अरे ये तो 4-0 हो जाएगा, अब तो WTC चले जाएंगे. But again, reality check in Adelaide, and we are at 1-1, and the series is beautifully set up for the last 3 games now. It's like aptly set up. This promises to be a blockbuster, and I think the star power from both sides, because last time when India went there were availability concerns, but this is like a packed audience, but a packed star cast has been assembled from both teams. They couldn't have asked for a better setup going into Brisbane now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that Australia fought back and played like Australia. But वरना मजा नहीं आता यार. If they were rolled over again, तो मजा नहीं आता. I mean, this puts spice in the contest, and this sets it up brilliantly for Brisbane. But having said that, मुझे ये भी लग रहा है यार, ये जो 3 दिन में मैच खत्म हो रहे हैं, तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया के जो फास्ट बॉलर्स हैं वो बहुत फ्रेश होंगे. मतलब उनको वो एक्स्ट्रा डे रेस्ट मिल रहा है. लेट्स नॉट फॉरगेट इट. हमारे बॉलर्स को भी मिल रहा है, व्हिच इज गुड. बट अब देखो, हेजलवुड भी फिट होके आ जाएंगे. ठीक है, नाउ दे हैव द ऑप्शन ऑफ प्लेइंग हेजलवुड एंड बुल एंड बोथ. आई डोंट नो वेदर दे विल टेक इट एंड मे बी रेस्ट Cummins or Stark for the one odd game like that. So or if all are fresh, then they again get Hazelwood back. So right now they have a sort of their a leg up on us, but then you never know. I mean, series is set up beautifully, but yeah, definitely the series also telling us a lot of stories which we will have to tell to people in the days to come, and a lot of things I think are going to, hopefully the chief selector Ajit Agarkar has utilized these 10 days gap between the first and second test usefully and had those conversations that he needs to have with a few senior players, few greats of ours.
But I think Gigi, there's going to be a lot of time for that conversation, क्योंकि अगर गाबा के अंदर घमंड नहीं टूटा तो वो 11 दिन का गैप है मेलबर्न. आई थिंक 19 के बाद सीधा 30 तारीख को आप मेलबर्न से निकलोगे, तो 11 दिन बॉक्सिंग डे एंड मेलबर्न क्रिसमस, दे कैन हैव ऑल द हॉलिडे कन्वर्सेशंस दे वांट. यस,
शेड्यूल किसने डिजाइन किया है वो मुझे जानना है। 10-10, 15 दिन का गैप फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड टेस्ट, अब 11 दिन का गैप आफ्टर द
वो तो आपको
थर्ड
पता ही है
टेस्ट।
ना कौन डिजाइन करता है, फोन करो ना उठा के।
पता नहीं ये सीरीज खत्म होते होते और क्या क्या घमंड टूटने वाला है, बट you know but having said that, we're like, now actually you're now waking up to the true idea of, oh हाँ, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में सीरीज चालू है. Until
Yeah,
now it was
करेक्ट,
like a
या
dream, an aberration, like, kind of, अरे यार क्या हो गया ऑस्ट्रेलिया को, ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो खत्म हो गया. अब हाँ यार ये तो वापस आ गए. They are in their true thing right now. So yeah, I mean, kind of that whole challenge of what you face when you go to Australia, I think that is now on our faces, and so be it then. I mean, starting third test match, I guess the writing is absolutely clear on the wall. And I'm again saying this: how safe we keep Bumrah and how much we protect him. How well we manage to protect Jasprit Bumrah, and
yeah,
what Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli
yeah,
end up delivering in the remaining matches. These three aspects will be most crucial to what our fate is going to be by the time the series comes to an end. And
yeah,
I think that should coincide with whatever is in store for Rohit and Virat also. I mean, I think that bar has to be set a bit higher in terms of what we expect from them and
yeah,
whether they are capable of delivering it or not. I think that BCCI or selectors or coach, whoever it is, needs to sit down and understand this, that there can't be any more,
yeah,
kind of walkaways. So there needs to be serious answerability if we have to. Because I'm not just looking at the story of Australia. I mean, after this is not ending. Your next story of England, aa jayenge wo aapko.
yeah.
This is what your planning is going to be. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
good
On
luck.
that note, still 29 runs behind. Day 3 tomorrow. Let's see how the action unfolds. But we all kind of back of the head know यार अगर ऋषभ पंत का एक freak knock आ भी जाता है, we just haven't performed well enough to challenge or trigger some panic in that home dressing room. So on that note, we'll take your leave, and I request all of you who have been watching us today to subscribe, like, and share this video. Click the bell icon so that you are notified whenever we go live. Why I say click the bell icon? Because the timings will change as per the matches. Tomorrow we'll be joining you shortly after the game ends, which could be sooner than the official stumps time. So click the bell icon, follow us across our social media handles, because we will ensure that you don't miss a beat, you don't miss an update. Keep watching, and thank you for joining, gentlemen.